Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
What's up, everybody? Big Herc getting down fresh out. I got the homie Big Kaz here, OG, LA OG, music industry OG. And, we're kicking the bobo, man. We're chopping it up. It's a prison talk, but it's not really a prison talk. We're talking about things outside of prison, life after. And I have some questions I always want to ask him, so I figure I'll share it with you guys. So, Kaz, man, how did you become involved with the life of a one percenter, man? And can you explain what that means?
Back to my birth mother. My birth mother, she surrounded herself mainly around brothers. And we lived on the east side. You know when they do, because I ended up going to foster care, and when they do the reunification, so by then she's in a Section 8 on the other side of town. And I remember she used to date this cat by the name of Chico from this barbershop called Magnificent Brothers. And he had a Harley. And I would just always be like, man, motorcycle. When I was a kid, she started dating this cat by the name of Pee Wee from the Chosen Few. And I would go to the clubhouse. You know, she'd be there doing what she do or doing who she do. And when I finally first bought my Harley, I bought it from Pee Wee. No, I bought it from LA Harley, and I blew the engine, and Pee Wee and Black Ray ended up working on it. I was a gangbanger. Like, you ain't gonna never see a red and white bandana in my pocket. To me, that's just fake. Like, my patch is my color. But I knew about the Chosen Few. I knew about I just always loved motorcycles. I never was thinking about getting in a club. I'm in a club. It's called Rolling 60s. That's good enough for me. And I started a club first called Kings Among Kings. And
I remember.
Yeah. Around that time we met.
And you had the clubhouse.
I had the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And as a one percenter, you don't go ask permission. As an outlaw, you don't ask permission. So I did it exactly. I broke every fucking rule. I would get ran up on. I remember getting ran up on by another club, and he was like, have you been approved to the COC? And do they know? I was like, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm not asking permission. I'm from 60s. The bottom rocker said neighborhood. I had white boys wearing neighborhood on their rock, not knowing. I'd have to explain, nigga, that's a Crip thing. But we ended up having a charter in Arizona, here, and Vegas. And there was a conflict in Vegas that Chosen Few stepped to, who was my president at the time. And I got on the phone with him, and I said, bro, this is a gangbang club. We ain't giving a fuck about no. I said, that diamond signifies, and here's where the word 1% comes from. The story is, they were in Hollister, people were drunk, and Harley Davidson defended it by saying 99% of most Harley riders are law-abiding citizens. There's that 1% that's unwanted and gang. That's not where that came from. 1%er came from a gentleman who was being interviewed. I think this was the 40s, and in the tape, it was old, and he said, "Listen, don't ask me any more questions. I'm 1% away from giving 0 fucks, so don't ask me no more." That's where that came from.
Yeah.
There's no Harley said, so we're 1%ers then. It came, and some did go about that route, but the first I ever heard about it was that guy, and I don't remember his name. I sent in another interview, or I pull it up on YouTube. So for me, when that issue happened with Chosen Few, this person who confronted my man didn't know the history. I'll show you something. My first motorcycle, my first Harley. Can't make this shit up. This has been in several different wallets. Now, you guys know I got Parkinson's, so excuse the shaky hand. Can you? Or you have to zoom in too much? I don't know if you can see that. That was 1986, and that was called a Mooglide. When AMF ended up buying Harley, that was built by Pee Wee, rebuilt by Pee Wee from Chosen Few. That picture has been in one of my wallets, gone to prison with me, everything. And you can see the license plate is blue. So that's old. We ain't had blue license plates in years. And I went out and met this guy. And I invited him out to my beach house. And as we're riding, Herc, I kept looking at his vest. And in my mind, I was already a 1%er. But it was like playing for the farm team of the pros, but you're just not in the pros. Mm-hmm. You still get in the lineup. You know, you still might got your name on the locker, but you ain't in there yet. Yeah. And I just kept looking at his vest. And I went, I need to do this right. He came to my house, and the next day we went to go work out. And he had this, which I still have to this day, a support Chosen Few shirt on that said Las Vegas. And as he's about to leave, I said, we call each other twin, because he's light skinned. My man, Big Milk. And I said, I can't let you leave it. Literally, we're about to leave, hug. I said, I can't let you leave with that shirt. After the embrace. And he looks at me like, I said, no, I'm serious. I can't let you leave with that shirt. Now he's got this look like, I fucking knew it. You just came to set me up. And I said, nah, I can't. And he goes, twin, what are you talking about? I said, I'm ready. He said, you ready to what? I'm ready to come over to the few. He goes, you have 3 state chapters, and you just gonna walk away? I said, this is where I need to be. Because my mother was a dirtbag prostitute that probably fucked every Chosen Few that she could possibly get her pussy on, and I wanted to wrong her right. That's all I kept thinking the whole night. I need to wrong this right. Because I don't want my history to be like, oh, you so-and-so son. Mm-hmm. When they want to go, oh, you, nigga, your mama was a hoe. And not only did I step away from my club, everybody knows me, I hate Vegas. I moved to Vegas and prospected there. And I've been with Chosen Few ever since, and I got my own charter 5 years ago. No, 3 years ago. And, you know, what I try to work on now, that documentary that just came out, Life of 1%er, it's actually going to be released on Amazon finally in 2 weeks. We had to go through some fuckery. And because of life after the penitentiary, that's how music, people don't really give a shit about no more. It's like, man, I saw you on Life After the Penitentiary, man. I just got out of prison. That helped me, blah, blah, blah. But I've done some groundbreaking things where I got the Mongols and the Vagos to sit in this documentary when we couldn't even sit around each other sometimes. Mm-hmm. Some cliques, some charters get along, but there wasn't this. And I want to make something very, very clear. I'm a 1%er. I'm a Chosen Few. I don't support the Hells Angels. I don't support the Vagos. I don't support nobody. I have a loved one in the Mongols. I have a loved one in the Vagos. I have a loved one that used to be a Hells Angel. What you're not going to dictate to me is who I should hang out with. Because I'm from Rolling 60 Crips. So if I'm going to hang out with anybody, I'm going to go back there. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I just ride my motorcycle. So what we're trying to stop now with a brother in the Mongols, like we're dying for nothing. I can't speak for the Mongols. Mm-hmm. I can't even speak for Chosen Few. I can speak for myself. As I always say, there's no motorcycles in prison. The ground don't know who's dying on it. Mm-hmm. And you can't put that motherfucker on the back of a hearse and bury it with you. You probably could. That'd be some baller shit. But we're trying to just stop this bullshit. You know, I belong to the profiling, motorcycle anti-profiling, where instead of worrying about who's friends with who, how about we start standing up to the police? Instead of cursing them out, work their asses out. And that's my life as a 1%er now. Like, I'm on leave right now because of the cancer. But you just saw I just rode all the way fucking down here. Mm-hmm. And then I'm leaving going to Oakland after this. If I can sit with a Vago that also says, look, we ain't got to be friends, but if you happen to be in the same bar I'm in, find somewhere else to look. Enjoy the beer just like I am. Mm-hmm. You know, but this killing each other, whatever they've gone through, that's theirs. But Chosen Few don't support nobody. Because it does, I know that really wasn't further too much into the question, but the politics is just like gangbanging. Mm. Oh, you from 60s, but you fucking with this red rag. In jail, what are we in jail? We're all one gang. Mm-hmm. When I got to Folsom, they said, Guillermo Ilan, Mexicans went like this, he ain't with us. And niggas was like, cuz you a Mexican? I'm like, oh, there's an X in there. It's Mexican. But I'm Latino. But I'm a Crip, so I got to go to that card. You weren't no gangbanger, but who'd you have to program with?
Yeah, then with cats from up north.
Yeah, Norteños. Mm-hmm. And Sedeños don't like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you got to get down where you get down at. Because when the shit cracks off,
You got to take a stand for
you
something.
got to take a stand, which I wish didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm chosen few. I'm a 1%er, not because I'm chosen few. I'm a 1%er because I'm 1% away from giving 0 fucks.
There you have it. Big Kaz, Big Herc kicking it on Prison Talk. Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.